Having done the Glendronach 18-year-old and then the 15-year-old, I think it's safe to say I'm doing these in a really weird order. But today we have the 12-year-olds, the red label. Nobody calls it red label, but it's got a red label on it. This is not a full bottle, this is a sample, because I know there's a thing about, hey, you know, samples don't give you the full experience. That is correct. I'm also not fucking loaded, so this is the best I can do. Deal with it. Glad we got that out of the way. So this is Glendronach 12. Glendronach 12, I mean, I don't want to, you know, tar this review before we get into it really, but I've had mixed experiences with this one. It's certainly not my favourite of the Glendronachs, but given how good they get the further on the age statements go, it's not that surprising, I suppose. But some core facts. Sherry cask, as with all Glendronachs, a mix of Pedro Jimenez and Oloroso casks. 43% this one, so a little bit lower, make it a bit more approachable, I suppose, because you tend to start with the younger age statements and then work your way up, don't you? So that makes sense. Still no chill filtering and no colouring, so that's good. And it's still a beloved part of the range. Certainly not sort of the fever pitch that you get with the 18-year-old. Even the 21-year-old doesn't get as much attention as the 18-year-old. It's very much on its own pedestal, that one. So we're going to pour some out. We're going to give it a wee while to do some of that there breathing stuff. So Glendronach, I was introduced to Glendronach a little bit late, really. I've only really had them on my radar for the last few years. When I first saw them, I was working, and I was like, what are those? I've never heard of those before. And they're like, oh, they're amazing, you've got to try them at some point. And slowly but surely, I, you know, ingratiated myself. The 18-year-old was a bit of a tricky one for me. I did not get on with it at first, and I was like, but it's so heavily hyped. It's kind of like, everyone says, oh, Only Fools and Horses is the best comedy that was ever made. And I'm like, that's all right, I guess. You know, it's not that great. It's not, you know, I've never choose to watch it. You know, ultimately I've come round to Glendronach more than I have Only Fools and Horses. I don't get it. I just think I don't like the characters, which is a big integral part of watching a story at the end of the day. So anyway, that was a tangent, wasn't it? So whiskey in the glass. It's a beautiful gold colour. So I'd say dark gold. Medium gold, maybe? No, it's towards a darker gold. That'll be the sherry cask influence that's coming in there. Quite fruity. As a flavour goes, it's quite, as a nose goes, it's quite, like green apples, melon. There's a bit of a sugar note, bit of like a caramel kind of sweetness. Yeah, it's vanilla-y, quite inviting, actually. There is a bit of like a nip on the nose, but it's not distracting. It's just kind of like, hey, I'm alcoholic, you know? It's fine. A little bit sponge cakey as well, but it's mainly fruit. It's mainly kind of like apples and pears. A little bit of like caramel in there as well. Okay. Let's see what we've got to work with here. Okay. Much of the nose is replicated on the palate. It's really fruity. There's like a apples and melons kind of a thing going on. A little bit of peach in there as well. There is a lovely sweetness to it coming in. It's something like golden syrup. I know that's not the most approachable tasting note for people that aren't in the UK, but I am, so up yours. It's not quite as saline as salted caramel, but it's got a similar kind of sweetness. That's, I think, the sort of neutered way I can approach that tasting note, but golden syrup. And there's like a little bit of a malty character to it as well. Yeah, kind of like almost sort of like an Ovaltine kind of a malt. It's quite subdued, but it almost kind of like carries the rest of the flavours along. It's really very nice. I'll say that much for it. It is really very nice. I think I'm getting on with this better than I did the last time I tried it, which was a while ago now. As I'm getting on with it, the sweetness is getting a bit more butterscotchy, so it's getting richer. The fruits kind of meld into it a little bit. There's almost like a strawberry note in there as well, which is a little bit odd. And it's a little bit herbal, but not too much. I'm going to stick a bit of water into it. See what we get. Ooh. Right, so, it's gone more sort of generally sweet, more of like a golden sugar meets blowtorch kind of a situation going on. There's still a little bit of fruit. It's more kind of like raspberries now. There's like a tartness to it. Okay, but it's not changed too much. The apples have kind of gone away. But other than that, I'm intrigued. I'm interested. So let's give it a go. It's kind of fallen apart a bit. The water's not done great things to it. It's kind of gone a bit flat. There's a general sweet note. The malt character is gone. And the fruits are still there, but they're a bit more kind of muddied now. It's almost kind of like you made like an apple puree or something, you know? It's just kind of flat and lifeless. Yeah, the water's not done great things. It's entirely possible that I've just kind of over-egged it a little bit with the water, which it's entirely possible is what I have indeed done. In which case, oops. But yeah, it's a little bit molassesy towards the finish, but other than that, it's kind of just sort of fallen apart a bit, which is a shame. If you're going to add water, I'd go very gentle. Maybe use like a pipette or a finger or something. But yeah, as is, yeah. I can only say what I've got in front of me, and that's taken a real hit. It's kind of like driving a bus through somebody's living room. It ain't good. Anyway, that's my thoughts on the Glendronach 12. Let me know down below. What do you think of Glendronach overall? Do you enjoy them? Do you think they're a bit overhyped? Do you have a bottle to hand? Do you wish you did? What do you think of the 18-year-old? Is everyone going a bit too nuts over it? Maybe? Thumb this video if you enjoyed it, and do join me next time where I'll be drinking something else.